Hello Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. We're going to do a collective tarot reading for you Earth signs today. Please come into the reading with an open heart, an open mind, a desire to learn something or better yourself. And of course, if the messages that come through don't resonate with you, feel free to push them aside. You may want to revisit them at a later date. Sometimes tarot messages will make more sense in the future. You may connect to the material later on down the line. So again, just be open to that. But trust your own intuition to separate what is meant for you and what is not. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. A very happy belated birthday to my Tauruses out there. It's been a while since I did a video, so I hope you guys had a great birthday season, and if not, well, I hope things only get better. All right, but this will be for all the Earth signs. Let's tap into Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn energy. What messages can I share with them this week? The Ace of Wands and the Three of Wands. This is about envisioning your future. Asking yourself the questions of what inspires you, what motivates you, what empowers you, those types of fiery energy words. Really, those are words associated with Mars, right? And for those who've been following my channel, those are words I use that I firmly believe in. And lo and behold, my my career sector of my chart has Mars in it. So that's where that kind of fiery, let's get excited, let's get inspired, let's do some good, right? That's where that comes from. And the reason I mention that is because those words are very much coming out in this. It's like thinking long-term about the future, like how can I do better and still honor who I am as a person? Where do I need to make necessary changes and, dare I say, necessary risks in order to go after the things I want, to get myself in alignment to receive those blessings that I'm trying to manifest. Yeah, you're stronger than you know. Your strength is coming through this week. Again, more fiery energy. This is a card typically associated with Leo. And of course, we have some Aries coming through here too. So my Earth signs, you're being asked to maybe do something that is a little bit out of the ordinary or requires a lot of strength, bravery, endurance, tenacity. Some of you may literally be training for some sort of something career related where there's a lot of information or knowledge, but also it could be quite physically draining, something physical or even athletic. Some of you may be training for like a marathon or something like that. Of course, I know that won't be all of you, but that's a metaphor for something going on here. The idea of it's almost like it has to start internally. You have to it has to start in your mind. You have to believe it in order to manifest it, on the external. So this does, to me, speak a lot of, to the idea of self-transformation and a duality, like the lion or the lamb. Tell me a little bit more about that. I see, this is more of an intuitive thing. I can't quite explain it, but I see some of you achieving some sort of honors or recognition in the near future, getting some sort of award or certificate or I don't know, a plaque, something that is recognizing the hard work and effort that you've put in. It's well deserved. And even if you're at a point where you're feeling like it's gone unrecognized, I think the universe is saying, quiet that little voice in your head that's saying, nobody likes me, nobody appreciates me. Because for my Earth signs this week, it's just simply not true. There's something in transition or in progress. And you do come out on top. Be open to surprises, good surprises, by the way. But again, this message always comes through in my Earth sign reading. So there's something to this. I really want you Earth signs to hear this. It's not going to happen in the way you're expecting it, but it doesn't mean you're not going to love it. I get that message for my Earth signs almost every week, which in a sense that somehow resonates with me in my I don't want to say vast knowledge of Earth signs, but I have a pretty good grasp on this stuff. I've been doing it for a while. And yeah, Earth can be very matter of fact. It's here, it's the physical thing, it's in my hand. But what about the faith? What about the spirit? What about the emotions? What about the imagination? Obviously, you guys possess all those traits, but sometimes Earth signs can lean into the too much of the here and now and the grounded, but also losing sense of the whole wide world. And I guess what I'm trying to say from that is like, seeing the forest from the trees, the bigger picture that, if what you see and have in your hand right now is not meeting your expectations or making you feel sort of underwhelmed, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen down the line, or that that's, your long-term narrative or trajectory. Something here is transforming, and I think it's asking for your patience, but it's also asking for your faith in something, some higher power, whatever that is for you, something more than yourself. Yeah, I think some of you feel like giving up, which I don't want to say it's funny. I don't mean it in that way, but it's, I don't know, ironic. It's, in a sense, it's disheartening, because just as you're about to quit, something really good, I'm hearing, lights up with all this fire. Something, I think that's a metaphor. It's like something is put into light that you didn't see before. Something is now, quote unquote, on fire or glowing, or there's some new access point, or there's some new road, there's some new goalpost, there's some new recognition that because you didn't see it before, you didn't think it was out there. Again, lacking faith. I believe this card represents, I want to say Saturn in Sagittarius. It's definitely Sagittarius. No, it's Moon in Sagittarius. Yeah, something about getting your needs met and seeking external sources, maybe not wanting to plant those seeds long term, feeling kind of antsy or scatterbrained, or needing some new stimulation. I'm not here to tell you what to do, Earth signs, but there is reward and success that comes from this. I know this is very vague. 5 of Cups in reverse. Okay, so not 5 of Cups in reverse speaks to me not getting something that you were wanting and desired. Feeling disappointment or disheartened because something that you thought was lining up for you didn't come to be. Now it's in reverse, so I mean it could be an even more emphasized energy of that. For some of you, it has to do with changing your mind about what you want. For a lot of you, a loss or a disappointment actually redirects you to the right path. And so while you're in this energy, it can feel like the end of the world, right? For those who follow me, you guys know I call this like my total eclipse of the heart. It can be a little bit over dramatic. It can be a little bit overblown, exaggerated, of like, well, this didn't work out, so my life is over, right? Hand to forehead. And I don't mean to mock you or try and minimize what you're going through. The only reason I mention that is with time. Again, time, space, distance. When you see the forest from the trees, this ginormous loss that has completely changed and ruined everything, I think you're going to look back and be like, oh, I get it. I see why that didn't work out, because if it had, I would have been stuck doing that for, days, weeks, months, when my heart wasn't in it anymore. I didn't even really want it. I don't know. I wanted the title. I wanted the recognition, but it's not what my soul was asking me for. That's sort of what I mean, is getting out of the realm of just thinking about the physical. I'm not even saying it necessarily has to be just doing it for the money, right? I know that's a stereotypical thing that Earth signs kind of get associated with, but it doesn't have to be that. But I will say doing it for the wrong reasons that aren't in alignment with your heart. Some of you seem to be involved in something where it's like suppressing it's like snuffing out the fire. The fire is already within you. It's trying to burn, but by doing something, it's like pulling the oxygen away. Do you know what I mean? It's gasping for air. It's trying to find life, but there's major transformation, but I'm not getting much on this card. I think it does have to do with a realization. It might be an internal transformation of starting to recognize your own strength, your own courage, your own willpower. It's okay to change your mind. And I think some of you look at that as failure. And it's quite the opposite. The moon in Sagittarius, why is that important? Sagittarius is the preacher, right? The one who spreads the word. It can be something to do with spirituality or God or whatever. It doesn't have to be, right? That's more of a metaphor. It also has to do with, publishing and marketing, right? Spreading the word, getting it out there. Travelers of the zodiac, writing, teaching and preaching, all that kind of stuff. some elements of incorporating that into your new routine is coming through, but it might not have arrived yet. So if you really want to be a writer and you're like, I love to write, but what I write is crap and nobody likes it, nobody reads it, there's a shift there. That's sort of what I mean about it's not time to give up. It's time to stick it out, but if you're sticking it out at something that drains you of any motivation to get up out of bed in the morning, then that's your Five of Cups. It's that realization that maybe you did put time and effort into something that you just don't have passion for anymore. And I mean, you can keep doing it, right? I'm not here to tell you you can't, but is it worth it? What are you really gaining out of it? And where are you actually sort of further delaying the inevitable of seeking that freedom to do what you want to do? And maybe this isn't a relationship, guys. You can always choose to look at it like that. I'm kind of getting more work energy from this. Something about the Aries season or springtime, the spring equinox. I don't know. Something about that is important. So, I mean, we've already had that in 2022, right? That would have been towards the end of March, early April. I don't know if some of you started to plant seeds of manifestation at that time and you're like, but it's not here yet. I hate to tell you, but that wasn't too long ago. So again, patience is not something I typically have to tell my earth signs. However, with this fire energy coming through, there might be I want it and I want it now. Or I want it, but I'm too scared to go after it. More than likely, that's it. It's like, I know I want it. My heart is like yearning for this and calling for me to do it, but it's never the right time. It's very easy to make excuses why I should delay this and not move forward with it. All right, yeah, the Knight of Swords in reverse. All right. Again, the idea of messages. I see, again, Tower at the bottom of the deck. Huge transformation and freedom, liberation. Going against what you've done up until this point, or possibly shocking people with sort of this newfound streak of rebellion, or it doesn't even have to be rebellion, but incorporating something different that maybe it is going to ruffle a few feathers. Maybe it is going to make people uncomfortable. I don't know. Maybe this has to do with coming out in some way. But I like it because it's honoring who you've always been. You're just more confident and more willing to announce it, again, Sagittarius energy, or chase it, go after it, go on the adventure, Aries energy. And what you don't realize is something about this may lead to some sort of position or role, whether it's career related or just an everyday life, something about you being a mentor for others who are struggling with that, or wanting to learn that thing, or if any of you are interested in pursuing teaching, that's certainly coming up here. Again, down the line. Let's see. What is this Knight of Swords, though, in reverse? I think this has to do with running scared, which is not typically my Knight of Swords. If anything, my Knight of Swords is very impulsive and, the thrill of the chase, Very Sagittarian energy, too, right? The bow and arrow. I'm going to hop on my bike and just go. Here, it's like, I totally get the necessity of assessing the risk of it, but it's like constantly talking yourself out of it, because I think a lot of you are operating out of a place of fear. And I'm not saying that's not valid, but I am saying that that's not a good enough excuse to keep you from doing it, because you really need to sort through and work through those sources of fear. Where are they actually coming from? What is the root? What is the source of that energy of I can, or I'm not good enough, or, artists are poor, or, whatever it is. That needs more dissecting. I think this is a strong card of meditation, the idea of quieting your mind and allowing the universe to naturally kind of guide you and give you some messages and maybe some helpful tips or pointers, whether it's via meditation or tarot cards or however it is that you get in touch with the divine. For some of you, it's just going out in nature. For some of you, it's swimming in water and getting that sort of, psychic, intuitive kind of, I don't know, watery dimensional realm type stuff. But what do you need to liberate yourself from? And I hope my earth signs are not watching this feeling like I'm beating up on you, but where are you sacrificing your happiness in order to keep something consistent or steady or routine, or and can you do both? Maybe this isn't a tower where it's saying break away all at once. Maybe it's not that explosion of and I'm gone. Maybe it's adding that dose of excitement or zest or enthusiasm to what it is you're already doing, so that you start to sort of forge a new path while still working on whatever it is, you know? It doesn't have to be this breakaway where you end up, you know, screwing yourself over because you don't have the money to afford to do that or whatever. You know, that's important. I totally get that. But the moon in Sagittarius says at minimum there's a huge need for variety here. And travel, even if that's mental travel, exploration into new thoughts, new processes, new ideas, new cultures, new literature, new friends, whatever it is, there's a need to go out there and learn from your surroundings. Because otherwise, how else are you going to grow as a person, right? I don't know. That's what I got for you for career. Let's move on to love. Gemini, Sagittarius, Leo, maybe Aquarius. That's what's coming up in that little reading right there. Let's do good old Rider-Waite. Why not? Be brave. That was your message. All right. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, romance, love, romantic partnership. Anything I can share with them this week. My earth signs. What's coming up for those earth babes? Cancer. Cancer's coming through. Flirtation. Seeing what your options are. Going on some sort of expedition or travel, getting out of your comfort zone, getting out of your house, getting out of your own backyard. Yeah, there's that tower again. Really, guys, shaking things up, doing something unusual, out of the ordinary. It doesn't have to be shocking. It doesn't have to be something that puts you in danger. In fact, it probably shouldn't be, right? Do the road less traveled is what I see here. A unique path, a unique road, a unique outing. It could be something online dating. It comes through with the tower. Because you never know. In a sense, it's like a gamble. That risk of who am I going to match up with? Who am I going to meet with? Maybe some of you were speed dating. Do people still do that anymore? Let's see. Then we have the Five of Cups again. So interesting that you have that. So you have that twice. So that leads me to believe, did you take a risk on something and it didn't work out once? And so now you're like, I'm never taking a risk ever again. You were risk averse. Is that the right word? You were averse to taking risks. Why? I mean, obviously. Because of ego. Because what would it say if you got jazzed and excited about something and took a leap of faith and it failed? You know, what will the neighbors say? How will that look? You know, my family will be ashamed. That's external, right? Stuff being projected onto you that really has nothing to do with you. Or you could swing it in the opposite direction. Well, good for me for taking a chance. You know, at least I tried. At least I'm living. At least I'm alive. At least there's still some fire and electricity in me that's willing to say that my life matters and that I count and that I should go after things, right? It's really changing the narrative. To be the winner, no matter what happens, you know, win or lose, like I'm out here and I'm doing it, and that's enough, right? You are alive. You are living it. And I mean, I don't always love this expression, but it's not true, which is like, trying to phrase it in a good way. I guess life is never easy, right? There's going to be bumps, and I guess the idea, essentially what I was trying to get to is like, at least it's not boring. But I know some of us out there are like, no, like I kind of like boring. Like I'm good. Like I got what I need. Nothing's crazy. But again, like part of this might be inevitable. Sometimes the tower is inevitable. Sometimes we choose to go after something different, in which case, you know, that's choice. Other times this is like shit happens, and then we can choose to recover from it and be the victor, or we can wallow in it and be like, why me? How could this have happened? And I'm not at all trying to be insensitive, right? Everybody's fighting a battle that we know nothing about, right? And that doesn't make it not valid. Your feelings are valid. But again, essentially, it is your responsibility with what you choose to do with those feelings. And with this energy, you're being asked to like raise your vibe and do something powerful with that emotion. Do something powerful with that energy. If you're an artist, you know, utilize that and exercise it into a painting. Or I don't know. For some of you, trips and travel is quite cathartic right now. More Sagittarian energy is kind of coming into this, which is funny because there's really no Sagittarius cards here. But I wonder if that's because we're in Gemini season, and Gemini is kind of linked to that same polarity. I don't know. Gemini is linked to travel. It's more local travel, sales, again, writing, teaching, exploration, being a social butterfly, being chatty, going out and meeting people. I think fear of rejection stops a lot of you. And fear of comparison. What do they say? Comparison is the killer of happiness or the killer of joy. Or I feel like you could put a lot of words in there. Yeah, some of you may have gone through a rejection where somebody up and left you and chose someone else. And I think this might be saying you need to distance yourself from that, you know? You need to unfriend them or whatever it is so that it's out of your life and start fresh, start anew. Ace of Wands, right? There's plenty of fish in the sea. I'm using all these expressions that I kind of hate because they're so cheesy, but again, they're not true. Let's see. You may unexpectedly hear from a Cancerian energy or a Scorpio. Again, possibly a Taurus might be coming into this. Even if you are a Taurus, there might be another Taurus coming into this. Yeah, Taurus and Cancer are linked in this right now. Doesn't mean other signs are not included in that, but there is something there. And I mean, if most of this is a positive reading for you, that's funny, as the Wheel of Fortune presents, okay. To me, that's like an indicator of the universe, like, yes, say that thing you were going to say. If this is a generally positive reading, I said the same thing to my fire signs, this can be unexpectedly falling in love. You know, meeting someone, going out on a date, being social, meeting up with a group of friends, meeting a friend of a friend. And, you know, if your story thus far has just been like unlucky in love, well, here comes luck, right? This could be unexpectedly falling in love. It could be things unexpectedly progressing forward, right? Chariot energy with someone who you have a lot of warmth and affection and flirtation with, right? It's not always this downcast energy, but I do understand that is factoring into it a little bit. So again, where is that playing a role in your life? And aside from the grieving process, which is very important to, you know, process the emotions we're feeling, other than that, I struggle to find a place where the Five of Cups is particularly helpful because typically it's crying over spilt milk. Again, like total eclipse of the heart, you know, the milk has been spilled and we'll never get it back. Well, yeah, it has. So what else can we do with it? You know, where else can we get some more? Where, you know, and I mean, the silver lining to this card is that there's always something else there. It's just a matter of perspective. It's choosing to find it or choosing to see it versus just wanting to kind of linger in that, I'm not ready to see it. I don't want the other one. I want the old one. So earth signs, you can do that as long as you want, but it doesn't seem like a particularly productive energy to me. So eventually, I think you're going to throw your hat in the ring to look at something else or choose to see it from a higher perspective. If somebody exited your life, maybe it means that it's making room for what's truly meant for you, right? It's, again, changing the narrative. But good things are coming in. I like that with the Wheel of Fortune. Again, more Jupiter, you know, very much connected to Sagittarius, as well as Pisces. Oh, and there's your Leo again. Double Leos. Something about Leo twins. Are there any twins in your life that are Leos or lions or, I don't know, two cats or, I don't know, something about that. Anyway, let's finish off with an oracle card. We'll do the Earth Magic deck for my Earth signs. That only seems appropriate. All right, what is a good message to share with Earth signs this week? I love this deck. I don't use it enough. Oh, there we go. That one wants to sneak out. Iceberg, submerged. You know what's weird? I actually felt like that was going to come out. When I picked up this deck, it's like I saw that one. Anyway. All right, let's read from the book and get you your message. Iceberg, submerged. Up to 90% of an iceberg's body is below the surface, deeply submerged in the bosom of the grandmother ocean. Yet grandmother allows considerable freedom for her enormous children, permitting them to move about as dictated by currents and their own momentum. Having broken off from a glacier or ice shelf, they float along the sea, much to the detriment of vessels that attempt to traverse their passageways. Most of us have heard stories of ill-fated ships that had tragic encounters with these ice mountains. Although the topmost portion of the iceberg can easily be seen, there is still a massive amount of its body below the water that may still be difficult to detect. And that which remains unseen can fool us and perhaps even be dangerous and damaging. So I think earlier too, we were talking about the idea of not only having faith, you know, seeing is believing, right? But believing is also seeing. I think that connects to the idea of there's a lot more going on underneath the surface, and I don't sense it in the dangerous so much as, you know, ships needing to be aware of icebergs, right? I see this more as the idea of there's a lot more out there, but just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. That's sort of what I felt with this, and maybe that has to do with your love life or your romantic life too. Where are you stuck? It's like, I just heard frozen fire. That makes me think of Scorpio too, especially for those who have strong Scorpio in their chart, or maybe you were with a Scorpio or are pining after one, whatever it is. There might need to be a release of the fixity of holding on to something that it's dead weight, right? Like it's just not moving. It's like getting your wheel stuck in the mud, right? It's just spinning out and you're not moving. And I always say this too, you know, like your one job in this lifetime is to grow and develop as a spiritual being, right? And then you start again in your next life, maybe, who knows? But yeah, the wheel wants to progress you forward, but are you ready? Are you willing to participate in this next chapter, or are you too stuck on the past? Or are you projecting past disappointments onto your future and thus manifesting? So always good to be aware of that. All right, Earth signs, that is what I got for you this week. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.